Yo guys, I was searching last night for Black Friday offers so that you don't have to waste time and money trying to guess what actually works. So we're going to use plugins I've actually purchased or used. So the first one is Genome. This is super slept on. The reason I use Genome, for those who understand what it is, it loads up what are called NAM profiles. So basically NAM profiles are samples of like analog gear, and you could load up different profiles like from an MPC, SP1200, like tape machines, all type of crazy stuff. So you need this as the plugin that loads the stuff up. So the NAM profiles are like presets. This hosts the presets. It's the only plugin I know that is stereo, that's affordable, that you can load up what are called NAM profiles. Now I'm going to show you the secret site with the actual NAM profiles. My favorite company for NAM profiles is called PasttoFutureReverbs. So they go through and, like I said, they run a tone through all these analog pieces of gear, and the machine learning in the NAM profile basically models that sound and puts it into a preset. Okay, so it's all machine learning using neural amp modeling. And I'm going to go buy the new presets here because I pretty much have everything, but they normally do a Black Friday offer where they have everything. So get ready, guys, on this website. I'm telling you guys, once that Black Friday offer drops, this stuff is worth way more because they really do their research. I mean, like machines I've never heard of, like the Ensoniq EPS, the Ampex 350, and they all have different characteristics. Okay, the Tascam. So basically, like I said, it's like running your drums through an actual Tascam or running your melodies through an actual LA2A. It actually sounds like the actual analog gear. You can click on here to hear different examples. So if you click on here, they usually have a video underneath. So let me zoom out a little bit. All right, so at the bottom here, it's usually a YouTube video. You guys can click here and just listen. So this neural amp modeler plugin, this is only mono, okay? So that's why I don't use it as much. It's only mono. I don't know if they've added a stereo, but from what I understand, it's mono. So here's before, here's after. So it adds that analog thing, and I could tell you there's a couple in here, like the tape machine presets this person sells are really good. So look for their Black Friday offer. I'm not sure if we could search. Let's search up Black Friday. I bought their Black Friday thing last year for $150, well worth the money and more, because getting access to this analog gear is like half impossible. So the fact that they've basically sampled it for you, allows you to basically run your stuff through all this analog gear, basically. Okay, so that is the secret sauce for this video. Also, there's another website called AnalogXAI. They're a good company. My only critique is that it's really hard to know what their stuff is actually modeling. So they have a more affordable, this is new, I did not know this. This used to be $100. Okay, their plugin called Genesis. This used to be $100. And I was always thinking it was a little too overpriced, but now this is even more affordable than Genome. So the guy who runs this is really dedicated to understanding the NAM technology. So I could tell you guys, this is a steal. Like, I did not know this making this video. This is a steal. The fact that that's $39, and it can also do stereo NAM profiles, because again, the default free version, the neural amp modeler plugin, it only does mono. So if you're trying to run your entire track through it, you can't get stereo width out of it. And these are the only two plugins I know that can run stereo in FL Studio. There's a couple other ones people talk about, like NAM Universal, but it doesn't work right in FL. So again, I think that's an Avalon, but it's like I can't tell. So that's my only critique about this website. It's like it's kind of hard to tell what stuff is. So I'm not like, I don't know all the gear, so I don't know what I'm buying half the time. Now this tape machine, very good tape machine. I recommend you guys look into the TIAC tape machines. But you guys got to go through and like listen to their YouTube. They even have the Zulu sampled. So you guys can actually get the sound of the Zulu through this plugin using machine learning. So this is a crazy website, super slept on. Nobody talks about it. Also honorable mention is a pack. Let me see if I can find it. Man, I couldn't find it, but it's by Analog for Life, and he made one for like the SSL console, and it's really good. I tried to skim through and find it for you guys, the actual preset for it, but you guys are gonna have to hit up Analog for Life and see if you guys can find it. So that's my only critique about this website. It's a little hard to find presets that you're looking for, but also you have to know what the hardware is. Like, this is the silver bullet. If you didn't know that, you wouldn't know any better. So it's like you have to kind of know what stuff is, because they're trying to avoid, I guess, copyright name stuff. But it's kind of hard to know what stuff actually is when you don't actually know the hardware. That's my only critique about that website. But these guys are dedicated to this process. So if you want one company that's super dedicated to this process, it's this company right here. And it looks like they now have sound demos, I guess. So this is interesting. Let's hear what this sounds like. Let's see if we can lower it down about. All right, so I don't know where. So I guess we could switch this and hear it in real time, like the effects. So let's go to like LA2A. All right, it looks like we can. All right, this is new. So I didn't notice this was here. You can basically hear what it actually sounds like going through the plugin without even. So this is really good because then here you could just demo the actual pack. Okay, that's actually really useful. Let's run it through like a Neve. So I'm glad they put the actual name. Now I know what's what. Okay, Neve 1073. Oh, you know what? I didn't even process the other sounds. I guess I was tricking myself. I think 15 stands for like 15 IPS. I don't know what that stands for. That one's very subtle. Let's try Silver Bullet. You can hear that crunch. So guys, like I'm saying, they sampled real analog gear. This will save you thousands of dollars and space and headaches because people who actually have this rare gear have actually done the hard work for you. Now, is it going to sound exactly alike? I think there's like charts where they map how close it is to the original. Here's the Zulu. Now, on the PasttoFutures website, they have stuff from the MPC, the SP1200, like stuff for hip hop. Oh, one last one. Let's do the TAC tape. The tape machine ones are usually the most fire ones. Man, I'm telling y'all, this is the secret. If there's one thing to know, it's about NAM profiles. So this is probably the best value. I did not know this existed. The plugin is now $39, a super steal. And then you go buy the actual presets of the gear that you want to sound like. So for my ear, the TAC is always really good. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The TAC, I can sit here. The Zulu's hard. You know, the other ones, it kind of depends on what you guys are trying to do. But console ones, don't sleep on the consoles because consoles have a really gluey type of tone, and you guys might like that tone for hip hop. They even have this they even have the SSL Fusion. So again, there's so much stuff on here. I would have to sit here and go through everything. So I'm glad we discovered that together in this video. Next up is Waves. I am now a Waves fan of Waves RVOX, Wave RComp, Waves NS1. Those are the 3 Waves plugins I use, and that's all I really need. And that's under the $14.99 a month Waves Essential Plan. Super worth it because if you buy the plugins, it sounds good now that it's only 40 bucks. But in the future, when you go to upgrade your operating system, you're going to have to pay another fee to upgrade. So you're basically buying like more and more plugins over time. It's just better, in my opinion, to use the monthly. Use it when you're actually using the plugins and then turn it on and off like that. You'd save a lot more money, in my opinion. If you want to buy it straight out, go for it. But I'm telling you guys, when you update your system, you're going to be upset when you have to rebuy the plugin all over again. So you're basically renting the plugin anyway when you buy it standalone or when you buy it straight out. So here, I'm going to give you guys a link to the Sweetwater wish list where I've sorted this stuff for you. Universal Audio has about 10 plugin bundle in here. The value is insane. You're basically saving $1,000 on that one. Crazy value. You get to hand select 10 plugins from UA that you want. Super valuable. You guys asked about headphones. Personally, I'm an Audeze fan now. That's what I have in my head. The MM500s. These are the MM100s, but they're very competitively priced. And if you're just too scared to jump to Audeze, in my opinion, you know, the Sennheisers were cool, the HD600s, but they weren't the Audezes. So it just depends on what you guys prefer. There's no like right or wrong, but personally, the Audeze is better, in my opinion. I've never used the MM100s, but if they're anything like these headphones, it's night and day. Okay. Then you have Autotune. If you guys don't have Autotune, you need Autotune. This is $200 off. You get the pro version. I think this is a pro version. Maybe it's not the pro version, but you get $200 off of Autotune. East West Super Sleeper has a bunch of their instruments. Guys, I used to spend like $600 per library on this stuff. Okay, now they're selling the entire like 4 library collection for $400. I used to buy each one for $600. And Arturia V Collection 11 is now on sale. Looks like $350 off, which is super valuable for the guys who make sound banks and all types of stuff for analog lab. Then you got the GOAT Omnisphere 3. If you guys already have Omnisphere 1 and 2, you could buy the upgrade. So that saves you a couple dollars right there. And if you don't have it, I'd highly recommend Omnisphere 3. Here's our super sleeper, Eventide H3000. I recommend this for more sound designers. I wouldn't recommend this for the casual person because you're not going to really know when to apply this. But personally, this is good for just really good effects that you can't get from other stuff. And then we have the Yamaha HS8s. So this is for the guys who want to be producing over speakers where you're just not sure which ones to get. These sound really good in a treated room. Okay, your room has to be treated, meaning acoustically treated. I had these in my spare bedroom in one place I used to live, and it just sounded so terrible. And when I got to a pro studio, they had HS8 sitting up and it sounded so good. And I looked at the speakers. I'm like, what speakers are these? They sound crazy. And I looked over and they were the Yamaha HS8s. I'm like, hold on, I have those at home. Why do they sound way better in the studio? It's because the studio was acoustically treated. So these only sound good, in my opinion, in an acoustically treated environment. Without that acoustic treatment, these don't sound very good, in my opinion. ImageLine has the new producer edition of FL Studio. A discount on that. So this is a no-brainer for people who are trying to learn production. Then you have the Universal Audio, kind of like Shure SM7B clone, I'll say. It's shaped just like it. And they have their version, which I always trust Universal Audio's products because it just builds it right into the ecosystem. You can't really lose with UA stuff. So this is a lot cheaper than the Shure mics, I could tell you that. And then we have the SSL Fusion. If you guys are getting into outboard gear, you know, I can say that the Fusion was the one piece of outboard gear that I've owned that actually I would always reach for because it added like this width and it added a glue, I'll say, to where basically instead of just hearing like fully left, left 50, middle, right 50, right 100%, you would hear everything in between. So it'd be like left 100%, left 80%, left 70%. You would hear all the width of the sound with this processor. So it definitely does something to the signal that allows everything to have its own width and its own space. And it's $700 off right now. So again, if you guys want this list, I'll link it below. You guys can just click the link and just grab whatever you guys find appealing. But yeah, the SSL Fusion was definitely something I would constantly reach for in my outboard gear. To give you guys an example, my outboard gear rack had 500 series. It had the Neve. Man, I'm forgetting all the names. It had the tape emulation of the Neves. I forgot the number on that. It had the Weiss audio or West audio. It had the compressor from them, the Dione. We had a vocal chain, SSL EQ plus the West audio Mimas, I think it's called. So that was for the vocals. And then we had for the signal, the tape emulation from the Neves. And then we ran into the Dione for the compression. And then we ran into an EQ, which I rarely used, from Drummer. And then from there, I ran into the SSL. And the SSL was always doing something. So the SSL definitely worth the value. All right, so moving on. UAD Spark, another great subscription. They've now basically made this super valuable. So the value is there. So I used to not recommend it because it wasn't cooked all the way, but now they've been cooking. Basically, it's just analog gear that you would just not have access to normally. What I love though are their reverbs. Let me get over their reverb. It's called UAD Sound City, one of my favorite reverbs from them. So if I had to pick plugins to kind of, eyeball, let's see. Firstly, the preamps are good. 1073's been good on my vocals before. I don't really mess with anything else in terms of preamps. I'm sure you guys can learn on the SSL channel strip just to learn. The SSL G compressor is good. Distressor is good. 2500 is good on rock snare. Let me see what else I used. The 176 compressors is good on like Griselda type stuff, more acoustic drums. LA3A is good on bass, vocals. LA2A, you guys have heard the 1176 good on vocals. So I can sit here and go through everything. I'm not going to bore you guys to tears. This is good for people who are sound designers trying to make sample packs. This is good for, when you want to process your live drum sound to make it actually sound bigger, and process your guitars to make them sound, more elaborate. So it's just like little nuances. One of my favorite instruments they've produced is called the Electra 88. This is a really good E-piano here. Super, super slept on because nobody talks about it. But that is a really, really good E-piano. and I love their Polymax synth. This thing sounds just like my Prophet 6. It's crazy. I was playing it one time and I forgot I was playing the synth, and I thought it was my Prophet 6 because I was using it as a MIDI controller. All right, so moving on, we talked about Genome, but Genome, I don't buy the presets from the company. I just use their plugin as the host. But again, we just found out today you guys can use AnalogXAI's Genesis plugin to load up the NAMM profile. So that's a little bit cheaper if you guys are just needing that to host presets. Then we got Sauceware Audio. Shout out to Jacob from Sauceware Audio. It says Black Friday sale, 40% off everything. All right, so you guys have access to the plugins, their expansion packs. They're known for their plugins, so let's go to the plugins here. They got Spawn on discount. They got Fusion X, which is a collaboration between them and forgetting the company there. Is it Aeroform? I'm forgetting the other company on that one. Prototype. Duh. And then we got Scorch. One of my favorite plugins from Sauceware is Scorch. This thing is it just always works. Trifecta, another great plugin. Octave, the GOAT. This was the first plugin that they've launched, and it's still good. So my favorites are Octave and Scorch, okay, in terms of sounds. So Spawn has the ability to even, I think, make chords, make melodies and all types of stuff. I just use it for its sounds. You guys can dig deeper into those plugins. So that's dope deal for them. Then these are companies who hit up my inbox to tell me about their deals. So this one's MixedinKey. So DJs are known to use MixedinKey. They were using this to create transitions. So like they would match the key. I forget all the stuff inside, but basically DJs would use a lot of this because it can judge your energy of the track. It can also judge the key, the tempo. So everything can like sound similar when you're doing your DJ set. So DJs are known to use MixedinKey. They also have other products called, let me switch sides here. This one's called Pilot Melody. So apparently they have a melody generator plugin. They have a chord generation plugin called Captain Chords. So if you guys want stuff like that. I've never heard of Platinum Notes. I don't know what that is. And these other ones I've never heard of. All right, so you got a MixedinKey Studio Edition. Find the exact key of your sample. Okay, I've heard people use this one, MixedinKey Studio Edition. You just drag and drop, I think, your beat or your melody, and it finds the key for you. So that's great for people who are trying to either make melodies or people who are recording over a beat and needs to know the key of the beat. So the rest of these, you guys can do more research. But yeah, these are kind of ranked from like top to bottom in terms of what I've heard of. Now, I'm excited to actually, I'm a customer. I bought a lot of their stuff in the past. XLN Audio is dropping Addictive Drums 2. For people who didn't know, it's really, 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 really good. And then they just dropped this hip hop and gospel pack. I'm about to grab it. I forgot that I had to do the video. I almost purchased this before this video, but I'm going to purchase this is my point. So basically they have a new, let's see if they have some demos we could play from. Crazy. Crazy, y'all. This company, do not sleep on Addictive Drums. If you guys want to make that Jay-Z, Rick Ross, boom bap, like that real acoustic drum sound, not just trap drums all the time, look into Addictive Drums too. Ron got the recipe, put me onto this, and I've never turned back. They have a really, really, really good library of stuff. I even bought the products for like heavy rock drums. So just because it's not your genre doesn't mean the drums don't sound fire. So I want you guys to, grab this pack and then grab, I think they're called, what are they called? Addictive Drum Packs. And just go through different ones. As you guys can see, I own a lot of these. Here's the ones I own. Modern Heavy. That one, ironically, is really good for hip hop. Vintage Dead, United Pop, Soul and R&B, Session Percussion, the Funk Kit, and I own the Studio Pop Kit. So there's still more to get, but those are the ones that stood out to me. And the way I judged those was YouTube demos. So now they got the hip hop and gospel. It's game over with this hip hop and gospel. Game over. For those who want my sounds, just go to busyworksbeats.com/black because you're going to get 3,000 of my sounds and 4 of my plugins with 1,000 sounds. So basically you're going to get 4,000 sounds made by me. Okay. And curated by me in our pack called the Black Box Bundle. So we have stuff, everything from Serum, expansions to actual VST plugins like Hercules, Halo 3D, Hypnos with tons of presets in them. And then you also get analog lab banks in here. You're going to get some guitar loops, some trap drum kits, some MIDI packs, some, some one shots for your, whether you use plugins or to manipulate them or not. You have vocal chops in here. You got a whole book that I've written. You get our Discord mega pack. You get the 808 mixing tutorial. Plus, not only our sounds though, which is really in depth, you get access to my course catalog. And I've been adding a ton of courses at busyworksbeats.com. You guys haven't heard me even talk about them because I wanted to keep them fresh for Black Friday. But I've added some killer new material. So just go to busyworksbeats.com/black to learn more. And if you want a more full list of everything that we have, I recommend you guys go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. All right, so on this website, if you guys want to see the entire course list, it's here. It's missing a couple new courses that I've added since, but this is pretty much the entire course catalog so far. I've recently added the new course. Let me show you guys. So I've added 2 new courses since: the vocal mixing with Waves plugins and the music producer AI playbook. This is crazy. I actually show you how to automate your online business. This is, if you guys are real business people, this is this course plus the Faceless Type Beat channel course. These 2 courses will rocket you online. Okay, because I'm giving you for real sauce on your online business. And I built many online businesses, helped people in their online businesses. So you guys can see everything that's included. Basically show you how to automate almost everything about your business. It gets really crazy. Okay, so going back to busyworksbeats.com/black, there's tons of value in here. Not only our training, not only our sounds, but we're going to have something else exclusive for Black Friday. I don't want to talk about it until Black Friday gets here, but just keep an eye out for this. So once you get this, you're entitled to all future releases. So even if you get it now, you're still going to be entitled to the thing I'm going to tell you about around Black Friday. Nextly, you have Plugin Alliance. The only plugin that I would snipe from this kind of list that I saw is this plugin people were talking about called the SPL Machine Head. When I used it, it didn't make that big of a difference, but I can see why people like it. So I think there's value here. Definitely a lot of value. It's $40. That's a no-brainer. Now, in terms of everything else, nothing really popped out for me. So let me just kind of skim real quick. I don't see anything else that's like, oh, let me see if the XL plugin's on sale. All right, here are the other plugins that stand out for me. So not only the Tape Head plugin, this one stands out. You also got the BX XL, the Brainworks XL V3. This is really good for just like adding harmonics to either the middle signal or the side signal and making your track sound bigger. Really nice plugin, really slept on. Never heard people talk about it too much. The Clipper, their Clipper, I'm sure that's really good. If you guys have standard clip, that will be kind of in that ballpark. BX Master Desk, this is $30. That's nothing. This thing sounds good. And yeah, so those are the deals on SPL. Definitely grabbing, some more of these. BX XL V3, the Clipper, and the Master Desk. Crazy value. This one, I didn't like it when I used it, but I could see now why people like it. So just try it out first and then grab it. All right, so I think we went through everything. Yeah, we talked about the presets. We talked about that. We talked about everything. All right, guys. So those are the deals that I've seen so far for Black Friday. I know this video is going to be like 40 minutes long, but I just wanted to give you guys some value. All right, y'all. Peace out.